Wingstop, the wing experts.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Angelspeakers Blog Talk Radio. Your host is Terry Miller, who is an author, psychic, medium, energy healer, and happiness coach who resides in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. On Terry's website, Angelspeakers.com, you can read all about time, as well as her other services offered, and even book a session from there. The information discussed on Angel Speakers is intended for general information and entertainment purposes only. It is not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. The programs are not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individuals with health problems should always consult their healthcare provider for professional medical advice, medications, or treatments. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Angel Speakers. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to Angel Speakers or the show hosts whose words and or opinions appear from or on this broadcast. To connect by phone, dial 929-477-1899. If you have called in and want to participate by being on the air with our hosts, press the 1 on your phone. We encourage participation from the chat room as well. Now, here's your host and founder of Angel Speakers, Terry Miller.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show tonight. It's so good to be on the air with you. I want to share with you that next Friday night, on the 21st, I will have Nicole Gonsinger here with us, and Nicole channels the Ascended Masters, and she's always a bright light when she comes onto the show, so I hope you will tune in to her. That's at 6:30 Eastern Time on the 21st, and then the following week, on the 28th, I will have Stacy Lynn with me. Stacy is an amazing psychic and very much in touch with bringing the messages as she hears them. So I hope you tune into her as well. Tonight we have a wonderful show. This man is so awesome. As I read more and more about him, I just can't wait to bring him on the air for all of my listeners to interact and to get to know Tim Ray. Tim is the founder of United Intentions Foundation, which he built to assist others in learning how to transform worrisome thoughts into positive intentions. I love that. He has created tools, programs, and resources to help people attract what they truly desire by understanding that our thoughts create our reality. Tim says, my definition of living life intentionally is living in the present moment with your thoughts. Once you are conscious of what your thoughts are, you are able to be conscious of what you are creating. Tim has degrees in business management and psychology. He began his career as an entrepreneur in the senior care industry and eventually opened his own business. As an education advocate, he created unique and impactful classes and certified programs for the Georgia Healthcare Association and at Kennesaw State University. We welcome you, Tim, to Angel Speakers. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. I really enjoy everything that you're doing, and probably more so enjoyed seeing you on the site and playing with you and sharing our good vibrations. Thank you for inviting me on. I really enjoy looking forward to tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I am so looking forward to it. And, Tim, you have this wonderful website that's United Intentions. I love it. I just found it, and I've been on there, and there's some amazing groups and some amazing things that you can do with setting your intentions. You know, I've been doing this myself for a while now. It's like every morning when I get up, I set my intention. What am I going to do today? And how can this day get better? That's the question I always ask. How can this day get better? You know, I opened my eyes. That's a miracle. Now let's see how it can get even better than that. So thank you.
No,
thank you for that wonderful website that you have.
Oh, thank you. We just kind of basically revised it and launched a new version of it just this year. So it's kind of new, and we're getting the word out. So I appreciate you sharing that too. UnitedIntentions.org. But it's exactly what it's for. It's for people, you know, I was listening to your story and you know, some of the trials and tribulations you had to go through, and how getting into the right mindset was everything for you. And the same thing here. We all have our ups and downs, you know, and I always say we have over 70,000 thoughts per day on the average, and the majority of those thoughts, as Dr. Dispenza says, they're either negative or repetitively negative. So we're kind of going up against the wall here many times because we're fighting against this belief system that is somewhat pessimistic in that sense. So the more people you could be around and the more energy you could be around where you could start thinking more positively and be in a higher vibrational state, or let's say a different frequency, the better off. And, you know, and we created a community where you can actually do that. And as you know, with angels and with prayer and everything else, that when two or more people come together in similar prayer, it's much more powerful. But we say as two more people come together in similar intention, it's just as powerful. It's that level of that science aspect of more energy together condensed in that one area, the more powerful it's going to be. It's just inevitable in that sense. So it's great, and I love playing on it, and I love an environment where you have a chance to create your intentions virtually, and you could share them with people who you want, or you could just keep them to yourself, or you could help your friends. You know, on your page, you can see who your friends are, and you see what their latest intentions are, and you can help manifest their intentions with them. So it's a fun concept. It's a simple concept about the power of the intention, and it goes hand in hand everything that you're doing, and we all do it every day. As you know, Terry, you create intentions every day. We all do, and when you're slow things down and you're more conscious of it, as you are, you can be aware of what you're creating. And this is just kind of a little playground for people to be able to come to where they could create intentions online and then start sharing them and tracking them and manifesting them. But, you know, you don't need to. We create intentions every second of our lives. But you're just kind of slowing it down so you could see each intention and see it being tracked and see it being manifest. So it gives you that sense of empowerment that you can create your intentions and manifest them. If you slow it down, you look at them one intention at a time, and then bam, you don't need anything. You just start doing it every day, living your life in an intentional life, right? So it's just it's a great place to do, and it's great fun, and you meet great people such as yourself.
Absolutely, it is wonderful, and you know it is interesting that when we get more conscious about what our intentions are, then we tend to pay more attention to other people in a different light. You know, we're not looking so much at, what's that person doing wrong. We tend to look for what that person's doing right. And, you know, we're setting the intention of raising the vibration of the world, which is what I set my intention every day. It's like, how can I raise the vibration? How can I help other people? Then we're looking at those ways we can do that and not at the ways we can tear that person down.
Well, I could tell you breathing is raising the intention alone. So anything else added to that's icing on the cake for us. Thank you.
Oh, talker, aren't you?
Well, it's true. I mean, I think what you're doing is not many people, speak to angels, at least acknowledge that. I mean, I think we all do to some degree, whether you want to call them angels or energies or whatever the word you want to use. But it's the fact that, you have these, and I hate to use the word higher frequency, but they're just a different frequency. I think, love frequency, perhaps the best way, dialing into a love frequency versus a fear frequency, let's say that. But the more people who do that, who on a daily basis, who practice dialing into a love frequency purposefully, intentionally, they're the ones who are raising our vibration. They're the ones, for every time somebody goes down low into that fear frequency, for whatever justifiable or unjustifiable reasons, there's needs to be people such as yourself who are going up in the vibration, or at least or dialing into that frequency, love vibration, to counter that, and the interference variable too. So, but to me, what I love about everything, and you kind of or I was alluding to it earlier, was science supports this. It's not all woo-woo. Just angels and vibration and love. I mean, science, quantum physics, is supporting this now, and we have that, and we have a lot of great people to thank for that, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and the list goes on. So I just think it's wonderful that you find people such as yourself with common beliefs as I, and it's just great how we all kind of run into it. And it's not a coincidence. I mean, there's no coincidences. The law of attraction brought us together for whatever reason. So here we are.
Absolutely. I don't believe in coincidences or accidents. If we're here right now, it was meant to be. And whoever is listening to these words, whether you're listening to them right now, over broadcast, or you're going to listen to the replay, you were meant to hear these words. And I've always said that. Ever since I've been doing radio, it's like whoever's meant to hear it will hear it. So I just leave that up to the universe, and let it to the frequency. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is exciting. But
it is exciting.
But yeah, I know. I mean, don't you feel like sometimes, Terry, when sometimes when you're in that grateful mode, when you're feeling that gratitude, I mean, sometimes it brings tears to my eyes when think of my children, I think of my dogs, I think of just anything that's really near and dear to me, and and things are going well. I just God, I'm just so lucky. And then I look at all the other aspects of my life, and I go, I really am lucky. And it's not, but it's not luck. I look back now. It's for me, the way I look back on it now is I've been in the flow of living intentional life for a certain period of time. Now, not that I don't fall out of the flow, but at times, but I just know that and I might not always do the right thing, and plenty of times I've done the wrong thing, but even when I've done the wrong things, my intentions weren't, for the most part, malintended. It was a good intention, just, didn't make the smart decision on that sense. So, but I think being driven or being guided by my positive intentions, or, wanting the best for everyone, the zero-sum type of situations, I think that's what led me to what I consider my own success and my own gratitude. And when I'm in that, I'm like, God, I love being alive. I love playing in this three-dimensional world and creating things, and I love the people I run into, and and it's contagious in many ways. And not that I have my down times and I attract people perhaps I don't want to attract, or they attract me when I'm not in the right state of mind. But it's just overall, I just have that sense of gratitude, and I bet you feel that too as well. I bet you have a constant sense of that, huh?
I'm laughing because as I'm listening to you talk, it's like me talking.
I know.
I know we haven't interacted at all, but when I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my work. How did he get my work?
Oh, we are so aligned. We are so aligned.
I love it. I know. So Tim, I haven't always lived a life of gratitude. And,
right.
It's like, so many times we get off path and we go down that rabbit hole, and then we're like, how did I end up here? But since I really discovered gratitude, there haven't been any of those rabbit holes. And I'm not saying my life is perfect. Trust me, by no means is my life perfect. And, I have the trying days just like everybody else does. But ever since I discovered the power of gratitude, and there is a power in gratitude, when you wake up every day and the first thing you do is say, thank you for another day alive. Oh, my God, it's like just a total mindset. You can feel the energy when you do that of this is going to be a great day. Today's a great day to have a great day.
And that's you setting the intention. Even if something went bad, say you had a nightmare, or before you started your day, or your dog jumped up and vomited and you had to clean it up when you first wake up and you're so tired, right? Whatever the situation is, but if you tend to have that good day, it goes so far, and maybe not initially because you're not really believing it. But when you get to that knowing level where you do believe this is what's going to happen, that's when things start really flowing. And I tell people all the time, like, well, you can't pretend you're happy if you're not happy. I said, listen,
right.
I totally agree. And there's a time and place for sadness and depression, and there's a energy and a point of staying in that sadness and depression, so you can learn whatever lessons you're learning. But there's also a time for you to be able to look into whatever's happening in your life and decide, you know what, and I could choose to go this way and learn through pain, or I could choose to go this way and learn through love. One way or another, I'm going to learn. I just got to pick which contrast I want to learn from, right? But when people say it to me, I go, listen, stop. Just stop and just fake it till you make it. If you really are that miserable and you don't want to be invested in that misery anymore, then fake it till you make it. Pretend like you're an actor, and you got to pretend to be a certain way or certain type of happy character you got to play, right? And I love what you're doing as a happy coach. And I think that's just right on, by the way. And happy coaching and happy trails, happy coaching. That's a good little line on the end there. So I think when people they fake it till they make it, in the sense that they got to pretend to be someone else. What they don't realize what's happening is there's a biochemical dance going on and firing going on inside your body when you're pretending to be a different emotional state of being, and in this case, a much happier emotional state of being. Even if you're invested in and stuck in that depression, and you don't want to, and you don't feel comfortable doing it, you don't feel it's sincere or it's genuine, just do it anyway. Pretend, go into that, just like you're an actor, go into that role, and watch what happens. It's amazing. Like right now, I do a little exercise with people when they're feeling sad or when they're feeling neutral, and I say, okay, let's act like we're sad, and you make that that frowning face, and you're looking sad, your eyes are droopy, and after a while, you stay in that physical state, you start emotionally feeling sad, and the same thing works when you're happy. So if you're sad, start laughing uncontrollably out of nowhere, laugh uncontrollably, and before you know, in the middle of your laughter, you're actually laughing. You're laughing, whether you got the laughing because you're laughing and you're pretending to laughing, whatever it is, but you're feeling laughter. You're feeling more joyful. You're feeling more happier, and you're releasing a whole other set of biochemicals in your brain and through your neuropeptides throughout your body. And so that is why you're changing. It's not just because you're pretending, but you're actually shifting your biochemical makeup in your body when you pretend or you stay in a state of joy, or whether you stay in a state of fear or depression, whatever it may be. So I challenge everybody to do that when they realize that, I don't have control over this. I can't control when I'm miserable. I can't control that I'm a pessimist. I can't control that my parents did this to me when I was younger. I say poppycock to that. Yes, you do have the ability, and the science supports it. Biology supports it. I know you're familiar with Dr. Bruce Lipton, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, and his whole science, Terry, supports that. It's that 5% of all our genetically passed on issues from our parents is exactly that, just 5%. That's it. That means everything. That means 95% of everything that we experience in our life on a DNA genetic coding is due to our environment. And more so, it's not just our environment; it's our perception of our environment. And that's a scientific fact. That's biological fact. And now we may not be being taught that in our school systems, or we may not be being taught that on the television or in the news media or on Jimmy Fallon's show late night, but that is the true fact of science. And when you're able to kind of unplug from the matrix and this, I consider it the propagandist of manifesting other people's intentions for them rather than making your own news and creating your own intentions. When you deplug from that matrix and other people's intentions and realize that I have the power to create my own intentions, you will understand that science and that biology, that how you can manifest your own reality. And that, to me, is the most freeing and releasing of energy, of your empowerment that you could possibly ever reach. That's the ultimate level of empowerment in my belief.
I totally agree with you, Tim, totally. And, I agree with what you were saying, that people are like, oh, that's just the way I am, or, it happened to me because of that, so I just have to live this way. And, I always teach people you have choices. We all have choices. You have a choice when you wake up in the morning of how your day is going to go. And that's reality. That's not a dream.
Yeah.
You make the choice. You choose. Am I going to have a happy day today? Am I going to look for good things and, have an uplifting? Or am I just going to be a grumpy person today and look for everything I can to complain about? It's up to us, really.
It's a choice. And why people believe, Terry, why people believe it's not a choice and why they believe that it's something genetic or they can't control it and I need to take antidepressant medication or anti-anxiety medication. They look for any excuse to go or get something from the outside to resolve an internal problem is because they feel like that's all they know. And all it is even from a biological level is we have created certain neural pathways that we're familiar with. And the great part about our brain is we could create new neural pathways anytime we choose to. And when we choose to create a new neural pathway, like for example, I'm not good enough. I'll never get that job because I'm just not smart enough, and other people are smarter than me. That neural pathway has been down that road so many times. Why? Because your father or your mother told you that all the time growing up, whatever the case may be, or an aunt or uncle or brother or sister, whoever. And so you are just familiar with that type of failure mentality because it's a familiar neural pathway that's been walked on so many times. It's that road that it's been walked on. Everyone knows about it. You've been down there. It's the easiest way to point A is to go down that negative road, right? But once you shift that neural pathway and you go down that uncharted road, the first time is a little challenging. Yes, because you got to clear the path. You got to use your machete and chop out some of those weeds that's been down this new pathway that you've never been down before. But once you make it through that first round, the second time's easier. And the third time is easier than the second time. And the fourth time, and as you're spending all your time on this new neural pathway of, you know what, I am smart. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I am best for this job. And once you're on that new neural pathway, the old pathway starts growing weeds and starts getting, more grass growing. And it's not as easy travel down that road as it has been in the past because you haven't been on that road in a while. And so the more you could keep yourself going down that new pathway, literally, neural pathway, the old pathway will start dwindling down. They call it dropping off. Those neuron connections, the axons and the rods and all those will start falling apart, and it will eventually at least go away or put back in a box where it's not that important to you anymore. And that's why initially it may seem difficult the first time you create a new neural pathway. But that's why I say fake it till you make it. Pretend to go down that road because chop those grass down, get that new pathway going that's going to make you believe that, yes, not only I can get this job, you're going to generalize and associate to other situations in your life. You can be like, you know what, I could take this to the next level. I can not only get this job, I can start my own business now. Oh, hey, not only start my own business, I can run for political office. God forbid anybody would want to do that these days. But I mean, you could really raise the roof just by creating one neural pathway on an avenue that you rode less traveled. And you know what? Just like in the Matrix, we've been down that road so many times. What's your choice?
Right.
What are you going to do? You going to stay down that road, or are you going to try something new?
Right. Yeah, so many people are afraid of stepping out of their comfort zone. But just like you were saying, it's the way it's always been done, so that's what I'm going to continue to do. And it's like,
exactly.
Wait a minute, you have a choice here. It's empowering people. It's what we're actually doing. You and I both.
Right.
When we teach people or we coach them, whatever you want to call it, it's helping them to come into their own power and owning that, yes, I do have a choice. Yeah, I can go this way instead of that way. And I love that. I love giving other people their power back.
Amen. And it's always been there. As Eckhart Tolle says, we're sitting on this box and we're paupers asking for money from other people. And if we just lift the box open that we're sitting on, it's a whole mound of gold there. And so it's it's realizing that our thoughts create our reality, that thoughts come first, our experiences come second, and letting go of the old paradigm belief of our experience creates what we think. It's not accurate and it's not true, and we have science to back it up today. And so if you just, that alone, let that old pathway fall apart and not and realize that, yes, my thoughts create my experiences, my thoughts create my reality, bam, you find yourself in the empowerment mode. Now you're empowered. Now I'm, and for some people, it can be pretty scary. People who have played the victim role, who enable, who always think that, Big Daddy's going to come in and take care of me, or Superman's going to show up. I was just on a show with Joe Roop the other day, Lighting the Void, and he was. We were talking about superheroes, and one of his partners, Dave Cruz, he's a big superhero fan. And I said, and I was dissing some superheroes. I said, guys, and not too bad, but I'm still a Spider-Man fan. But and I said to him, I said, guys, yeah, Wonder Woman. It was the invisible thing that got you, right? Go invisible. Was that what got you, or the bracelet? I don't know. Anyway, but
maybe
so
both.
maybe both. But so I said to him, I go, we're obsessed. Some kids out there are so obsessed with these superheroes that they're losing their identity into these other people, and they're raising them to such a level. It's like with Hollywood actors. We're raising these people to these such levels that they're godlike levels, right? And I think it's so unhealthy for so many people to lose their identity in that, because all they're doing, as you know, Terry, is they're giving their power, whatever little power they have at that moment, they're giving over to some other outside entity to take care of them. And that's just the opposite. You can have appreciation on that, but just don't lose yourself in other people coming in to saving you. Get out of that victim mentality, like, I need to be saved. The only person, I hate to tell you, is going to be saving you is going to be you. You're here to co-create with God, Goddess, all there is, Source, angels, Jesus, Buddha, whatever word floats your boat. But you're a co-creator with this, and you're needing to. We're needing to realize that we got to do our part. We got to step up and realize that we have this power within us. Even Jesus said we're going to do much more than he said that we're going to do much more than he has done. And I think he was realizing that we have to wake up. We got to wake up. This coming is us awakening within ourselves of this power of that we have to really shift and create our own reality. And it's not a spiritual. You could say spiritual awakening, or it could be, or just maybe just a emotional, mental, physical. I don't know what it is, and I'm not about to say who's right and who's wrong, because I don't know who's right and who's wrong. And people could tell me what religion or spiritual belief you think is right and wrong. I don't know. I looked at all of them, and I'll tell you what, I'm probably more confused now than I ever have been on that level. But it's just, to me, I think once I start defining God I lose its meaning, or her meaning, or his meaning. And so I try not to define it anymore. I mean, if you ask me, Tim, what religion you feel most comfortable with, I probably would say, I would probably lean towards a Taoist type of belief system. But even then, it has its parameters and limitations. So I just try to do what a few folks out there is be open-minded and be quick on my feet.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people do ask me what religion I am, and I'm spiritual. And it's not a religion. It's being in touch with who I am as part of spirit. And I think the only time I really hear that now is if I go to the hospital, which I try not to do, by the way.
Yes, that's not a good place to be. No, it's never a good place. But I agree with you, and I think a lot of people get caught up into that. And I'll tell you what, I've lowered my bar so much these days, because I think we have a society, we have a media, we have, if you want to use the word satanic, or just a lower frequency, fear-based power brokers in charge of this world and country, that I lowered my expectations to, I don't care what religion somebody believes, as long as they believe in a higher power or source or God, Goddess, all there is, I'm there with you. It's the folks who are disconnected from it, not only don't believe in it, or they don't. They're angry at it, or they don't like it, or whatever. I mean, I feel so bad for them, because they're missing so much. They're missing so much from when you're connected to Source. They're missing so much of how life really is, to sit back and look at a tree and be mesmerized by a leaf and the veins going through it, and almost imagining, intending that you can see the water going through that, and just seeing the tree, just wind slowly blowing, where other people, see it. Oh, I gotta cut this tree down, and this is how I'm gonna make my millions, whatever. It's like they miss out on that connection. They miss out on that avatar moment And it's sad,
right.
and I feel sad for them. I really do, because they're not, they're so worried about living and avoiding death, they're not really living,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And it's so good to hear somebody else that has done that with the tree. When I read Eckhart Tolle, that's where I first did that experience, just sitting there and just being quiet and being in the moment. And that's exactly what he shares with us, just to be conscious every moment. Just now moment, because that's really all we have. We're not guaranteed anything beyond this exact moment that we're in. So just being more conscious of what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling in this moment. Don't worry about all the stuff that happened in the past. Sure it happened. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lisa Nichols. She's one of my mentors. And she said we needed every experience we had to bring us to where we are now. But we're no longer back there in that place. We're no longer back there living those experiences. It brought us to this place we are right now. So where are we right now, and
right.
looking at that, and I love that mindset.
Eckhart Tolle says, die to your past every moment. And that's a reason, He says he ever seldom looks back at his past, So I'm with you on that 100%, Terry. Forward and onward.
Well, I want to hear about some of the wonderful things that you do, Tim. There's so much to Tim Ray. Wow, you've been busy.
I have been busy, and to the point where I kind of have that maverick mentality, and I'm so surrounded by blessed people, and some people, as a business entrepreneur and owner, and being in the business world and having, let's say, success from a secular society's perspective of success, sometimes you can get disconnected from what's really important. And I thank God I'm surrounded by these beautiful ladies and people and men who could snap me back in line at any given moment, and I love it. So, and they do. And but my point is that I really are trying these days to sit back and enjoy the fruits, not of my labor, just the fruits of people's labor. And like today, I literally was out today. We had my dogs at the office at the foundation. I bring my dogs to work periodically, and some people say a lot. I say periodically. And so I was out there looking at this tree, and I was just pondering exactly what I just said a little earlier ago. I'm like, God, people are so rushed to cut down a tree like this. It's such a beautiful tree. And I was just lost in the moment there, and I was touching the leaves, and I see trees as living things, and I've seen the tests where they put those electrodes on the leaves, and they put a match next to it, and there's an electrical response as if the tree's screaming of pain, and pain's interpretive, but it's an electrical response. So I'm like, God, just when you slow down, you connect to that, and you realize that avatar moment, like I said earlier, we really are living in a magical world. And if just to show appreciation, show some compassion to things that maybe we consider not as smart as us or as intelligent as us. And I always refer back to Terry, one of my favorite lines in a Star Trek episode. I think Captain Kirk or Spock, one of those guys said, and I'm a big sci-fi fan as well. But he said, and they're talking about whales, and he was saying that I try not to limit my compassion to someone or something, to my estimation of their intelligence. So I don't limit my compassion to someone or something by the estimation of their intelligence, by my estimation of their intelligence. I mean, let that settle in for a minute. Think about how powerful that sentence is. And think about how many people don't follow that statement, how we limit our compassion by how smart we think something else or something is. Or we give credibility to people who have lab jackets on because we think they're smarter than us. Or we see animals as less intelligent, so we could do as we wish with them in a very inhumane and uncaring way. It just goes across the board. And sometimes I find myself, I'm human, and I find myself doing those things, and my dark side coming out, and getting lost in that moment for whatever reason, whatever it may be. But I usually find myself, I ground myself and find myself, pull myself back out of that situation, and get reinvested and reconnected with Source. And everything's Source, is it not? I mean, we're swimming Source every day, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And
so to your question, I mean, to avoid your question, but with what I've been doing, unless you want to talk about something else, but we at the foundation we're doing so much. We have the you want me to mention about the UI education or anything like that, or you tell me? I'll go wherever the conversation goes.
I would love to hear about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us about that.
This, I'm so excited and I'm so proud of Jennifer Kramer. She's like the co-host, co-everything. She's been with us for the foundation since the last 2-3 years, and really making movement for us. And she was with the help of Dr. Milhouse and a few other people, helped to put together this incredible education program we call the Uif Education Program. And basically it's teaching children from 1st grade to 12th grade that how their thoughts create their reality, and how if they have a situation, there's a 4-part process where they can identify what the issue is, if they're being bullied, or if they're not doing well on a math test, or whatever the case may be, showing them how they could use this method of shifting their perception on that issue into a positive, putting on we call it rose-colored glasses on how you'd want that situation to look like, slowing yourself down, stilling yourself, looking at whatever obstacles, and putting on a new hat on how it could look like, and then putting your action plans together. So it's basically using the law of attraction but in more of a scientific perspective, or more of a step-by-step perspective. And it's shifting people's negative realities into a positive future, right, in that sense. But it's showing kids on a children's level. And as you get older, first we use the 1st grade, we use goals. And as you get older, you use intentions. And intentions really are our definition at the foundation is some people say it's goals or purposeful thoughts, but we like to use it's a knowing that hasn't happened yet. A knowing that hasn't happened yet is our definition of an intention. And so as you become more confident on what we call the intention scale, which measures your degree in your belief in that intention actually being realized or being manifested, and you go from anywhere from definitely not to not likely to maybe to likely to definitely on that 5-point scale. But your state of being is so important. So we're shifting these children's state of beings from of gloom and doom of this is not going well, I'm being bullied here, to how can I change my perception? How can I neutralize this negative energy within myself? And when I neutralize this negative energy within myself, it neutralizes that energy outside of myself. It's the law of mirrors, law of attraction, right? Everyone's a mirror of ourselves. So we're shifting the kids' perspectives back into themselves for their answers rather than outside for their answers. And showing them and tracking it where they could see one intention at a time, one piece at a time, that their reality changes once they shift the reality within. The reality without changes when they shift the reality within. It's a simple 15 module program. It's very easy. It's one of the people say that they love about it. It's simple, easy, and so effective. It's all about the power of intentions. And we're teaching kids at a young age. Think about where you and I, Terry, would be today if we had this instructions going on at 1st grade.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like instead of a superhero being out there somewhere to save them, they are the superhero. So looking inside,
exactly,
they see that they're the one. They're the one that rushes in and saves the day. Yeah,
exactly. That's a great point. I'm going to tell the crew that we're creating superheroes. Look at that. I love it. Mm-hmm. There you go. Look at
you
just saved the day there. You superhero saved you Wonder Woman saved the day. We're creating superheroes, and that's what it is. We all are superheroes. And once we realize that, that's what makes the difference. Well, that's one of the main things, our big focus right now. And if anybody wants to help out, get involved, it's a movement. We need all the help. We're a 501c nonprofit, so jump in, get involved wherever you want, whether through donations or through help, interning, or if you want to be a master teacher with that program, get involved. And we're rolling it out at different schools or at different home schools, and we're getting to private schools, and eventually we're going to be getting to public schools, which is a little bit of a challenge, but Jennifer is a lobbyist, and she's getting with our local governor in Georgia and trying to get some legislation passed come next year to help with this actual program. This is a paradigm shifter. This is a paradigm changer right here, this program, and we're really excited about it, and I can't emphasize it enough. So that's just one of the things, really, and there's so much more. But let's talk about you, Terry. What?
Well, before we do that was going to be one of my questions was, if it was in the public schools, which would be amazing,
yes.
And I really see that happening in the future. I really do, Tim. And I want to connect you with a good friend of mine, Karen Palmer. We do a lot of education-type programs together. We call them play shops. And, we teach people how they can become empowered and letting go of limiting beliefs and all of that. But Karen goes into the schools and teaches yoga to these young kids and meditation, and helps empower them in that way. So I would love for her to get involved with your organization as well. So I'm going to be doing a virtual introduction with you and Karen.
I love those. Please do. And I'll get Jennifer involved because we were working with the Hone Foundation, which does, they call it the mindfulness program. They have a hard time getting the word meditation in some of the public schools, but it depends, I guess, which school. But, it's all words. Doesn't matter to me. You use mindfulness, meditation, yoga, or and whatever, it's just semantics. Just the point is go within, all right, and find your answers. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. And I think that's is. And if we could teach that at a young age, boy, where would we be today? And that's where I think, my God, all those mistakes, and I don't even consider mistakes. I learned so much from them. But all those, I'd be flying around with a cape right now around the continent. Who knows where I'd be? So.
Yeah, absolutely. If we could ever, I know it's not good to do what if, but what if we had
I hear you. Well,
we're younger, and it would have made such a difference.
Yeah, like you, I see a beautiful world. I see a world where we are empowered, in a world where we are our own superheroes, and I see that. I really see it, and I don't care what BS I hear from the media. I hear from the whatever. To me, I have very little respect for our present politicians on either side of the aisle, just for the fact that we've been hoodwinked and lied to so much so often. Now, there are a handful of good ones out there. I'm not going to put them all in the same basket, but it takes 2 weeks to corrupt the politician, and the politicians they're not our answers. Our answers are only answers we're going to get, if you haven't realized it yet, is from within ourselves. That's the only way we're going to shift this world. It's from one person at a time within.
Absolutely. There you go, using my words again, Tim.
You're my soul sister. You're my soul sister.
I know,
where you been?
I know.
We're hooking up now.
I'm a peace ambassador for the state of Florida, and I work with an organization called the Prosperity and Peace Initiative. And we're placing peace ambassadors in every nation. 196 nations will have a peace ambassador, and somebody in every state in the United States. And every day I go on social media. I go on Facebook Live every day for I call it happy hour, because it happens at 5 o'clock my time, so it's happy hour. And
somewhere.
I tell people those exact words that you just used. It's going to happen one person at a time. It has to happen inside of us to bring about world peace. We can't depend on anybody outside of us. There's no superhero that's going to come in and say, okay, now you've got world peace. It has to happen inside of us. And, and I'm part of this organization that's looking for people that want to be involved, people that want to give even 1 or 2 hours a week, that can spread the word that we are working toward a common goal of world peace. And
put me in for Georgia. I'll take 2 of those. And and let me send me the links and whatever, and I'll get the foundation involved and see what we can do about that, because that's how it starts. It has to be united. You have to be a united approach.
Yes, absolutely. And we had a wonderful Parliament meeting last year out in Salt Lake City, and I met people from all over the world, and we're all working together to bring this to a reality. And we're going to hold a peace summit on Peace Day, September 21st. We're going to have summits all over the world and in every state in the United States, and just work together for world peace. So, Tim, what does world peace look like to you? I always ask this question. What does it look like to you?
No more chemtrails. That's just, I'm joking there, but not really. But no, world peace looks like to me, honestly, is people are communicating beyond language, and we're living in a vibration or a frequency of love is our default. And so when things don't go well, I mean, that's just a reality of three-dimensional world we live in. Things don't go well, we immediately default into a love frequency vibration, and we then start growing from there. And to me, if I can live in a world where that is our default vibration is when you fall off the pedestal for whatever reason, you fall into love, then we've created a heaven on earth, have we not?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Now,
I see it. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. You see it. I want to see how you see it.
I see it as just accepting each other. It doesn't matter what color our skin is. It doesn't matter what language we speak. Just physical doesn't matter. It's connecting on that spiritual level, connecting as the spirits that we are, and building people up instead of tearing people down, and relating to people on that level instead of, you're black and I'm white, so, we're not going to get along. I don't like you just because of that. It's none of that. It's just accepting each other.
And listen, amen to that. And I think if we could get to that point, which I believe we will, hopefully sooner than later, then we can bring heaven on earth. And I think that's where our purpose is. Mm-hmm. And everyone has their own individual dharma and purpose, and we're all working that, or at least most of us are figuring that out now. I mean, there seems to be this 100th one monkey syndrome going on now that people are realizing I have to have a purpose. I love it. I mean, how many life coaches have you seen pop up in the last couple of years? And to me, that's a great indicator. All these life coaches popping up everywhere, that's a great indicator of people waking up. And I just think it's I don't care how many we have. We could have 1 million of them in one little town. That's great. That means we have 1 million awakened people. But I just love the fact that people are waking up, and it's grown exponentially. And what's sad, and I try to focus on this because one thing I love to do on our with the foundation, especially on some of the radio shows we have called the Wake Up Hour, where we talk about really some bad, ugly, negative things going on out there in this present world. And the challenge in this conversation for an hour is to figure out, okay, we focus on these really bad realities our collective consciousness is creating here together. So what do we need to do to shift our perception? How can we shift it? What do we need to focus on? What intentions can we put in to help shift that so we don't have to deal with that anymore, whatever the case may be, or we could shift that into a higher frequency type of belief. So I love that challenge because, it's easy, and you have to be careful because a lot of people who are into this new thought or this positive thinking, as Teal Swan said, you could find yourself in that trap of denial-based positive thinking. And when people get caught into that denial-based positive thinking, they think, well, I can only think positively. I can never think of anything negative. And so when they're feeling on something negative, that perhaps their higher self is giving them a little treat to learn from, but they're denying it because they don't want to. They're so scared of creating a negative reality or experience, they fell right into that trap. That's the whole point. Here I'm using fear. I'm using fear now to avoid thinking of fear. And so when people get caught in that denial-based positive thinking, they're actually manifesting what they don't want, not even realizing it because they feel like I could only be positive.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of room, Terry, for being in your sadness. I think there's a lot of room and energy for being depressed and allowing it to be there and allowing you to feel it and not taking that depressant medication or not taking that Adderall or not taking whatever to distract you from your feelings. I think there's a valid reason to feel those lower frequency or those fear frequency feelings. It's just the point being is you can't, if you don't deal with it, you don't look at it, you don't uncover it, you don't shine light to it, you're going to be suppressing it and manifesting it more so in your life without even realizing it. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until you're forced to deal with it in some scenario, some example that's going to say, wow, this is in my face now. I can't avoid it. I can't look away anymore. I'm going insane. This is the divine insanity. I'm going insane. I have to deal with this piece of my life. Yeah. And so I'm all for leaving people. I'm all for leaving people in their pain. Leave them there until they're ready to get out, because they're gonna have to choose, and we're gonna have to choose that we're living in a three-dimensional world of contrast, and contrast is there, no matter what. That's how we're great. Right. That's how we grow through the contrast. So we're gonna make that final decision at some point as we get older or as we awaken, whatever the case, whichever comes first, is am I gonna learn, like I said earlier, in fear in this situation, or am I gonna learn in love in this situation? And you make that one decision. Then you go to the next decision. Am I going to use fear or am I going to use love? Next decision, fear, love. So it's incremental, and you can pull yourself out of that situation. But sometimes you have to feel enough. Some people learn through fear, and they got to feel enough pain for them to say, you know what, I don't want it anymore. And hopefully it gets easier. But if you don't allow yourself to feel that pain, if you don't allow yourself, and you're numbing yourself on whatever it's alcohol, drugs, whatever. And listen, I'm not judging anybody on that level at all. But when you get lost into it and it's overcoming your life, and you can't, and you're totally distracting yourself from dealing with your reality, what you have, then I think you're missing your whole point of why your higher self is giving this opportunity to grow.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. And then we have to reach that point where we say enough is enough. We know enough is enough, because we're standing at that crossroad, and it's like, am I going to keep doing this over and over and over again? I used to say I feel like my life's going in circles. I did this already, and now I'm back here again. But I had to reach a point where I said enough is enough. It's insanity, to keep doing that. So now let me try something different, and we all reach that point, Tim. I really believe we all reach that point. We all have that breaking point, if you want to put it that way, where we say, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to live like that anymore.
I'm with you, Terry. I think everyone has that point, and I'm totally with you on that. And now I'm really enjoying things. I'm really truly enjoying things, and and you have that. Somebody asked me about, the universe seems to give you a challenge. Yeah, of course it does, and whether it's how you want to define it. But usually, right after something that you are creating a new belief system, a more positive belief system on whatever topic or issue in your life, they call it the second wind. And the second wind is your universe saying to you, do you really believe this new belief system? And they throw a little curveball at you, whatever it may be.
Right.
You lose your house. You get divorced, or can you handle it now? And so it's a great tester to our constitution and to our true beliefs. And I welcome them now. So I look forward to them if they come. Sometimes I don't even come anymore because I look forward to them.
Yeah, it's like I used to ask God, source, whatever you want to call that, higher power up there, out there.
Yeah,
I used to say, okay, can I have a sign? Can you give me a sign that you're paying attention to me? And everybody that knows me knows that I did this. I'm like, okay, give me a sign, something to show me that you're watching me. And so now it's like when I go outside, my front door, I no longer do that, because every time without fail, something is there in my face. It's like either that butterfly just automatically is there to fly by me, or, the bird chirps and I look up. It's like it's there. We don't have to ask for it. It's there, And when you're connected with who you are and what you're all about, then that's the way it goes. It's like it's just there. Just open your eyes.
The signs are every.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
The signs are everywhere, and you hit it on the nose when you said in the beginning of your show, Terry, is that when you're in the present moment, bam, you see it all. And I'll tell you what, I have a tendency, since I'm kind of maverick-like mindset, I'll miss out on my present moment at any given time, to the point where, people like Jennifer have to shake me. Tim, are you listening to me? And so, but when I'm hyper-focused and I'm in my present moment, boy, do I soak in every ounce of green and blue and love. The whole works, and I love being there. I just my goal every day is try to stay in there as much as I possibly can. That's my work I do every day. Yeah, me too. I love being in there, but sometimes life gets in the way. Is that the truth? We're drawn back to the mundane things that we have to deal with. Gotta make the donuts. Got to make the donuts. We do have to make the donuts. We have to have that roof over the head, Although I think I could live on a beach very comfortably. Me and an umbrella. I'm with you. Yeah, exactly. And I so enjoyed this, and I can't believe that we've been talking for an hour, and it just kind of flew by, didn't it? Wow. This is one of the quickest hours. Absolutely. Yeah. It really brings it home that there is no time. We've just been enjoying the present moment. We just experienced a quantum physics moment there. We breached linear time, and it all occurred simultaneously. We look back, it was a half hour, although it's an hour. But we condensed it. We gained a half hour, Terry. We gained a half hour. Set our clock. Really set our clock accordingly. Well, I want to thank you, my new friend. Thank you so much for sharing yourself with us. And I think we're going to have many, many in-depth talks, because I just see that we're so connected, and like you said, just was that divine timing. This was the time for us to meet and get to know that we are really, there's no separation. We are just one. So I want to thank you. And anything else that you would like to share in the couple of minutes that we have left, I would love that. Sure. Other than I want to thank you for having me on, and I look really forward to talking with you further and getting more involved. Like I said, when you meet someone, you guys are on the same vibrational frequency. It's hard not to set up future times when you'll be getting involved in whatever organizations or whatever projects we got going on. So that's inevitable. And the only thing I want to mention, Jennifer, yell at me if I don't, is if you guys go to unitedintentions.org. It's free membership. We're a 501c. We're set up for you. It's all about showing people how their thoughts create the reality. And our vision is just simply awakening people up to the power of their intentions. And it's free membership. Get on. You'll see Terry and I there. You post pictures you like and create intentions. The biggest thing is creating intentions. If you're not familiar with it, get on and enjoy it. And check out our Uif Education website, too. It's wonderful. It's right on our site. And get involved. Our kids are our future, and this is where we need to put our time and energy into, from my perspective. So, again, thank you, Terry. It's been wonderful. I really enjoyed this so much, and you're going to come on our show here soon. I'm sure Jennifer's already setting that up, probably as we speak, if she hasn't already. So, yes, we've been in touch. Thank you again. So definitely, all right, looking forward to that. So thank you again, Tim, and thank you to all the listeners. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful night. And I'll leave you with this thought: blow the biggest bubble you can. And then just imagine that inside that bubble lies all the secrets of the universe, and you are the creator. Thank you for being here. Blessings to all of you. I love you. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon, Tim. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Now, you can't just call yourself an expert. You got to earn that title. And at Wingstop, we've been earning it for decades. Want the secret? Start from scratch. Make to order. Sauce by hand in one of 11 mind-melting flavors. Serve hot with scratch-made ranch. Repeat for over 20 years. That's how you become an expert. Wingstop, the wing experts.